Disclaimer: the information provided in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for legal, financial, or professional advice. Please consult with a qualified professional for any specific concerns or questions you may have. Hello and welcome to the Empowera Podcast. I'm Brett Bazzelli. I'll be your host. This is a platform dedicated to raising awareness and transparency to cultivate ideas for nurses and healthcare professionals. Our mission is to empower healthcare professionals by providing them with accurate and up-to-date information on a range of topics, from common issues in travel and agency nursing to incidents of harassment, assault, and discrimination in the medical workplace that often go unreported. Today, we'll be discussing how we can create a medical workplace culture that encourages reporting and supports victims of harassment, discrimination, and assault. I'm going to start off, if we can, with some empowering quotes. Before we dive in, let's just reflect on some quotes that remind me, at least, hope they remind you, of the importance of speaking up and taking action. So, the first: the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. That's by Alice Walker. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Wow. Next one. Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity. That's Hippocrates. Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is a love of humanity. All right, third one. I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear. That's by Rosa Parks. All right, so I'd like to take some time as part of the show to go over an empowering historical example that actually took place here in the Colorado area. Happened in the 1970s. There was a group of women that got together and discovered that their gynecologist had been performing unnecessary surgeries on them without their consent. So the women, believe it or not, bonded together and brought their cases to the state medical board, resulting in this doctor, Dr. Burt, that's Bravo Uniform Romeo Tango, for those who didn't hear me, and it resulted in Dr. Burt's license being revoked. This case brought attention to the issue of medical misconduct and the importance of informed consent it led to changes in medical practices across the whole country. That could be you. Voice of 1,000. All right. So let's discuss some of the most common types of workplace incidents that go unreported in the medical field. These incidents can include harassment, discrimination, assault, or violence. According to a study conducted by the American Nurses Association, 7 out of 10 nurses have experienced verbal abuse in the workplace, and 1 in 3 nurses have experienced physical violence in the workplace. That's just nurses. We're not talking speech. We're not talking PT. We're not talking OT. We're not talking registration. It's just nurses. I'm not talking about doctors. All right. Despite these alarming statistics, many healthcare professionals, believe it or not, do not report these incidents due to fear of retaliation or disbelief that anything will be done. So let's create something new. Hop along. The Empowera train. Choo-choo. So you may be thinking to yourself, how can we create a medical workplace culture that encourages this kind of reporting and transparency and awareness. Right? All right. Well, it starts with education and the overall awareness. Knowing that it's there. Saying that it's there. A wise nurse once taught me, what you permit, you promote. I try to go into every shift with that. I really do. We as medical professionals need to know that we have rights. And what we may term as misconduct in the workplace should be mentioned. And that's our responsibility, not only to ourselves, but to others, to be able to do that, to be able to speak up. As healthcare professionals, we have a right to feel safe and respected in our workplace. We have a right to have employers that support us, whether we're on shift, right before we're coming in for a shift, right after a bad shift. Yeah. Imagine that as a world. There's strength in numbers. There always has been. Actually, I had something very interesting come across my eyes, and it was a video online that showed a bunch of honeybees working together in the hive, and a hornet came in, and hornets will eat honeybees, and they didn't know that. And it went in, and it started attacking a honeybee, and like instantaneously, all of the other honeybees swarmed around this hornet. And their defense mechanism that they do is they smother it. And they get it up to almost like, I think it was between 100, I fact check this, I know it's over 100 degrees. I want to say it was up to like 120. They literally fry the hornet. Power in numbers, people. You're not alone. There's resources. And don't forget, after it happens too, mental health. Let's have some more support from our employers when it comes to this. We're worth it. I know I'm worth it. All right. Thank you all very much for listening. Appreciate you all. Shout out to everybody who works in the medical field and everybody who's there lending a hand, whether you're a mother, father, aunt, uncle, best friend, any of you, for supporting your friends in the medical field. That speaks volumes of yourself. And I know at least for me, makes a huge difference in my life. All right. Well, whether you are creeping through the rest of your shift, you're not at work, or you're on your way in, this is Brett on the Empowera Podcast, letting you know you make a true difference and that you're enough and that you're worth it. Bye. Have a good one.